Come into this sanctuary that holds us. Come into this community that stands with us. Come into this community in which we rediscover connection. Come into this community in which we take a breath. Come into this community where we find belonging. Come, let us worship together. Please rest.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wherever you are throughout the world, for those here in the congregation, welcome to All Souls Church Unitarian. My name is Jana Owens, and my pronouns are she and her. I am your worship associate today. We gather here at All Souls in person or on Zoom. We accept each other and ourselves as we are today. We greet and embrace all gender identities, sexual orientations, abilities, ages, races, creeds, religions. All people are welcome at our table of love and fellowship. We gather to celebrate our successes with others or to seek comfort when we're in pain. We gather to be present with ourselves and others on this day which has been given to us. Now, if this is your first time or if you still feel really new here, maybe you could raise your hand or let folks know in the Zoom chat so we can give you an All Souls welcome. Do we have guests? Oh. Welcome. Please keep coming back. And after services, we do have coffee, tea, water, pastries, etc. I think in Pierce Hall today, which is to my right out the front doors there. So now I'd like to turn your attention to this orange connection card that's in your order of service. or it's posted in the chat where you can see it if you're on Zoom. The connection card is our way of staying connected with you. Each week, it's going to offer new opportunities for us to stay connected with each other. We want to know how you're doing. We want to support your engagement in this community, and we want to make it easier to communicate with us. Now, if you want to tap into the lifeblood of this congregation, you'll want to subscribe to our weekly email newsletter if you don't do so already. On your connection card, under the email, I think that's on the back, there's a box where you can check it to opt in, or you can go to the All Souls website and you can sign up there. You can consider the invitations on this card throughout our service. Our ushers are going to collect it during the offering. And we really appreciate it if you fill out, if you're a visitor, if you fill out your address, your mailing address, so we can send you a gift. We're really happy that you join us today. Let us pause. Let us today honor and recognize the legacies of both indigenous and enslaved peoples at this international crossroads that we now call Washington, D.C. For generations, the Piscataway tribes have been the traditional caretakers of our bioregion, and these peoples of the water have lived along the Anacostia and the Potomac rivers. Our commitments to the beloved community and to our eighth principle set an intention to educate ourselves and to take action to repair harm. Though the form of this repair may change, may our commitment to it remain true. In a world, there sometimes seems to be more that divides us than unites us. Today, we know that, right? We intentionally take a moment here to covenant together, to give voice to what draws us all together, to renew the values to which we pledge ourselves. I invite you to rise in body or spirit to speak our Sunday covenant together. Love is the spirit of our people, and service is our call, to build the beloved community, to seek fuller truths in love, to dwell together in peace, to offer aid and affirmation, and to tend to our well-being. This is our covenant. Now, please stay standing because it's time to greet each other. If you're here in the sanctuary, I invite you to turn around and wave at the camera so you can greet people who are on Zoom. If you're on Zoom, go to the gallery view, turn your camera on.
As our choir is taking their seats, I invite our young folks to come forward to help me tell the story this morning. We don't define young here. We just know it when we see it. Come and take a seat. I don't know where the rug went. Maybe it's a magic carpet and flew somewhere today, but maybe it'll come back. So, here is a question. What is happening on Tuesday? Election Day. Perfect. So I have a story about an election. You can determine if it was the first election or not. And it comes from a book called President of the Jungle. Once, Lion decided that he wanted a swimming pool, and because he was king of the jungle, he decided to reroute the river into his front yard. And thus he had a swimming pool. But the other animals complained. Lion only thinks of himself. My children are thirsty. They need water to drink. So they decided, like good Unitarian Universalist animals, to protest. And they began to march right down to the swimming pool and go, water is for everyone, water is for everyone, water is for everyone. But Lion didn't listen. So they decided that maybe they should have a new leader. How do you get a new leader? They decided that maybe they should vote. And the creature that got the most votes would become their leader. And they decided to call this a democracy. So they established some rules. Rules for the election. We will hold an election every spring. That's a lot of work. Any animal can be candidate. Each animal gets one vote. Votes are secret. The candidate with the most votes wins. Number 6, candidates cannot trade gifts for votes. And rule number 7, most important, candidates can't eat their opponents. There were 4 candidates that first election cycle. Can I get 4 volunteers? Oh, great. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming up. Yep. All right. Stand up. Stand up. That's okay. We could have a vice president. Okay. Lion decided he didn't want to be left out. Also, monkey, snake, and sloth. Okay. Lion said, vote for me. It was my great ancestor who first drove the possums from our land and making this much more pleasant for everyone. Vote for tradition. Vote for lion. Monkey says, nice and high. Monkey. Monkey said, vote for monkey. That lion said we could all use his pool, but he lied. I say no more lies. I promise housing and food for everyone. Vote for change. Vote for monkey. Snake said, you know me to be a trustworthy snake. I have come and visited you in your nests and burrows. We have fought off the great famine together, and hunters. Together, we will make our democracy. And Sloth said, fellow citizens, do not judge me by my name. I am not lazy. I recognize that good governance takes time, and it means hard work of us working together with patience. We can accomplish much together. Vote for sloth. So then it was time for all animals to line up and cast their votes. Oh, first they debated, and they had rallies, and they went on television, and they had debates, and they did wild things about each other until it was time for us to vote. All right, now let's do a little, clapping competition. Who votes for lion? The lions. Who votes for monkey? Who votes for snake? Who votes for sloth? All right, it must be the jungle in here because the results were sloth wins. Turned out lion was bribing people with peanuts, breaking rule number 6, so he was cast out. But on his victory speech, sloth gathered everyone together so they can listen together. And he said, "Dear members of this jungle, I have learned so much from you by listening all throughout this campaign. And I see that Lion just wants to be recognized for his hard work employing those people who built his swimming pool. We recognize that Monkey wants housing and food for everyone. And Snake believes in coming together and really getting to know one another. And I recognized we need all of us to make our future." And so they started to work together. Now, not everyone was happy with the results of the election, so it was a good thing there was another one next spring. Let's thank our candidates for their hard work. And let's think about how our election, as we go forth from this space or back to our seats, our democracies are built on participation and listening to one another. And with that, let us sing our children to their classes and back to their pews with their family with Sia Hamba.
I did not know that there were going to be signs. That's great for the sloth. That's wonderful. My name is Tracy Hughes Trotter. I have the honor of serving as the executive director here at All Souls, and I'll be your liturgist this morning. We have the 100 for 100 campaign that is still underway. We're in the second week of the campaign, and it's a matching campaign in honor of the 100th anniversary of the dedication of our church building. The good news is that we are nearly 50%, at the 50% mark of the additional pledges needed to match a $50,000 gift from a very generous family here at All Souls. Yes. The money will be added to the capital campaign to help cover the costs of repairing the doors and the windows around our courtyard. So if you haven't done so already, please take advantage of this opportunity to double your gift if you're pledging for the first time, or increasing or extending your pledge to help make the much-needed repairs to the building. If you would like a 100 for 100 pledge card, feel free to raise your hand and an usher will bring it to you. You can also find the cards if you would like to get one at the front desk. Additionally, behind the pews there, you will see that there's a QR code that will take you to the All Souls website and you can contribute online. So how many of you, by show of hands, could use some post-election joy? Yes. So the All Souls Music Ministry is hosting an open mic on Friday, November 8th from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Come be with your All Souls friends and family, laugh and appreciate one another, be an audience member, and consider performing yourself. You all do not want to hear me sing karaoke. I won't do that to you. I hear that there's chocolate involved. Keith says yes. There will be singers, storytellers, poets, artists, and audience members are welcome. Performers, if you'd like to perform, please show up at 6:50, and I think it's going to be a wonderful time. If you're a federal worker, please join Social Justice Feds today from 12 o'clock until 1:30 in the Eaton Room. Social Justice Feds is a community of support for federal employees. The meetings are confidential, nonpartisan, and safe spaces where all federal workers can connect. Federal employees who are directly connected to All Souls or referred through friends are welcome to attend. There's a vigil tomorrow night. On the eve of the election, there will be a candlelight standing vigil with houses of worship all along 16th Street here, from the White House to Silver Spring. Come shine a light for democracy, peace, and hope. All ages are welcome. Plan to gather at All Souls or wherever you wish on 16th Street between 5:30 and 6:30 tomorrow evening. There's an important opportunity to shape the future of All Souls, and it's happening immediately after today's service. At the 2024 annual meeting that occurred in June, the congregation asked the Board of Trustees to reduce the church's reliance on the endowment as a means of balancing the church budget, while at the same time ensuring that the many programs that are offered here at All Souls remain vibrant and our staffing model is aligned with our values. The board recently approved the creation of the Living Well Within Our Means Committee to help with this process, and is now inviting congregants to engage in this very important work. There will be a Q&A session in the Longfellow Room from 12:30 to 1:30 today. The Longfellow Room is on the 3rd floor, just as you get off the elevator. Or there's another session tonight from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Zoom. If you would like to learn more about the committee and you would like to find tonight's Zoom link, feel free to go online to the All Souls website calendar. Last but certainly not least for our announcements today, we've got a final note of gratitude to Michelle Anderson, our youth ministry coordinator. Michelle will be departing All Souls on December 1st to take on the role of the Director of Spiritual Development at Accotink Unitarian Universalist Church in Burke, Virginia. Michelle has been a wonderful addition to the RE program and to our staff. We'll be saying goodbye to her on December 1st, but let's offer her a moment of appreciation right now. Thank you, Michelle. And now to congregational care. We are sad to share this news from our UU community. Reverend Colleen Squires at All Souls Community Church of West Michigan died suddenly and unexpectedly last week. She meant a great deal to many people in that community and also to Saul Uloa. Is Saul here? Okay. He's a member of our congregation. Reverend Colleen was an important and inspiring voice, especially to have in a conservative West Michigan. Let us keep Colleen's wife, Linda, the congregants of All Souls Community Church, and everyone whose lives she touched in our hearts and in our prayers. I invite you now to lift up and out loud or in the chat or in the sacred silence of your heart the people or places or causes that you carry with you here today. Will you pray with me? These are the words of Christian theologian and mystic Howard Thurman. Open unto me light for my darkness. Open unto me courage for my fear. Open unto me hope for my despair. Open unto me peace for my turmoil. Open unto me joy for my sorrow. Open unto me strength for my weakness. Open unto me wisdom for my confusion. Open unto me forgiveness for my sins. Open unto me tenderness for my toughness. Open unto me love for my hates. Open unto me thyself for myself. Lord, Lord, open unto me. Amen.
Amen. So the election is this Tuesday, and I've been pretty calm this whole time, but I would say that the number of times that I check the polls and do the little New York Times app of moving different states into different columns belies a certain level of tracking and interest. And maybe it's because John talked last week about it also being World Series season that I compare these two experiences, this classic lineup of the Yankees versus the Dodgers meeting head to head. But I'll tell you, there is really no similarity. Because at the end of the day, even though you root for your team and you may grieve their loss, what you ultimately hope for are close, exciting games. You want it to go to Game 7, and mostly what you hope for is some brilliance on the field or at bat or on the mound, something to hold on to with glory. And that's not what this election feels like at all to me. It rather feels like a collision of two mass objects moving even at grinding speed, but inevitably crashing. And then what is left are these pieces. And what's wounded is our country and our communities. And so I really think about our democracy not as something that happens on Tuesday and all the work that we are putting in many of us still living in other states to make that happen, but really the work that continues beyond whatever the results are. In other words, the work of our democracy is going to need to continue long past this election, and the work looks like building community. And let me tell you specifically why I think this is spiritual work deeply connected to Unitarian Universalism. It dates back about 7 years ago. And at that time, I was the minister of All Souls in Indianapolis. And for 2 years, I had been part of an organization called IndyCan, the Indianapolis Congregation Action Network, which was a broad-based, multi-faith organization working mostly for economic and racial justice in the city. And 7 years ago, our paid organizers at IndyCan called us together because money for progressive politics and progressive policy was always a little tight in Indianapolis. But they got a grant to help protect Obamacare. And they said, we need to take some actions on this. And I had made a commitment to myself and to them that I would show up whenever I was asked to. So I showed up at the planning meeting, and I showed up at this quick organizing action that we pulled together 2 days later, where we were gonna drop off a letter at Senator Todd Young's office. We hoped he was like a little baby of a senator that we could train up the right way. And so we got there, we weren't all that organized. We went in, we discovered some other people at IndyCan we didn't know were coming, were already there. And this one legislative correspondent who generally answers the mail said, "Oh, great, you're here, we're already meeting, come on in," to a meeting we had no intention of ever holding. But that doesn't mean we hadn't thought about what was at stake for us for those last 2 days. And we went around that large circle and we shared which congregations or faith communities we were from and what our name was and why Obamacare was important, and why health care should be a human right. And there was deep listening, and the legislative correspondent was clearly writing down name. He sometimes would check spelling, write our point next to each of our names, which to me felt like he was caring about us and paying attention to us as individuals, even more than as a collective. And at the end of the meeting, I was thinking about what had not yet been said. And I remembered a little talking point on our list of talking points from our planning meeting, and so I decided to share. And I said, we come from diverse backgrounds, and we represent differing faith communities, and so not all of us are in agreement about this, but I wanted to tell a story from my personal experience. When I was 24 and an intern on Capitol Hill, I had a precancerous health scare, and I was earning almost no money, and I needed to get this checked for my peace of mind. And the only place that I could get an appointment quickly and that I could afford was in Planned Parenthood. And so I went in, and luckily, the results from their tests revealed that I was going to be okay. But if I couldn't have gotten those tests, the level of worry I would have had to endure, or knowing that they could have followed up and helped treat me had I needed more care at an affordable price, would have made all the difference. And so I urge you both to include pre-existing conditions for people like me who just didn't have the same results if I had to go forward, but also to make sure that Planned Parenthood is recognized as a valuable safety net for health services in our communities. The meeting kind of proceeded as normal, and we left soon after, but the next morning, I got a call. It was from one of the co-chairs of the Clergy Council, and she said, here's the thing, you talked about Planned Parenthood in this meeting yesterday, and I said, yes. And she said, well, one of the Catholic priests there is really upset about this. In fact, he told IndyCan, who has offices in his church, that they need to leave by the end of the week. And that the Catholic Church is pulling all funding, i.e. 30% of their annual funding, because of this comment. We will need you to show up at a meeting at 9 a.m. in 4 days' time. And that was the end of the call. And I was sort of processing this. I showed up to that meeting 4 days later, and I was 7 minutes late because I was dropping my daughter off at daycare. And when I walked in, I noticed, well, there were a lot of men in the room. There were these 3 white Catholic priests, a Black Baptist minister who was also co-chair of the Clergy Caucus, a white male Mennonite minister, one of the paid organizers who is a Black Pentecostal male minister, who, Jaward, who I'm friends with, and actually we already by that point had traded preaching at each other's churches. And then there was the lead organizer for IndyCan, the executive director, Shoshana, who is a white, female, Jewish lesbian. And then there was one other person, a white, female Episcopalian priest who was very private about the fact that she was in a same-sex relationship, and who I was told was only invited to make sure that I had support, but never once spoke in the meeting. Now, I knew everyone in that room because over the past 2 years, we had joined together to ban the box, which means we took off employment applications, the little box that said, yes, I've been convicted of a crime. So that way people could at least apply for a job before being taken out of elimination. And we had worked together to pass this funding referendum for mass transit, which in Indiana is a lift. And we had done months of phone banking, over a third of which had come from our All Souls. And in 2016, when Trump won the state by double digits, we also passed our referendum. And we'd recently been gathering together because we were so afraid for those in our community whose immigration status was in jeopardy. And so we had begun to plan how to be sanctuary congregations. All of these faiths were there, including the Catholic priest and the Episcopalian and Jawar the Pentecostal, and certainly myself. And so we knew what it meant to work together. But as I walked in, I hadn't even made it to my seats when the Baptist minister said, well, it's all decided then. We agree we will not ever again talk about abortion, Planned Parenthood, or marriage equality. That is so great. Now we can focus on what we are going to talk about together. And I thought, how on earth did they ever decide anything so quickly? And you dumb, we're like not even through the check-ins. But I sat down and we decided to talk more. Just have more conversations, just to keep the conversation going. And one of the Catholic priests, a different one, said, I just want to say, every once in a while in one of our meetings, something pro-LGBT kind of comes out, and we let that slide. And he goes, but if anything from marriage equality comes out, like half the Catholics are walking. And I let that sink in me as I looked at Shoshana, the Jewish woman in a same-sex relationship whose son Micah I loved. And I thought as well about a young man who had joined my congregation during Pathway to Membership just the night before. You see, he had met with me privately, and he had talked about when he was 19, he was attacked by other young people in our city who said homophobic slurs as they hit him. And they left him lying on these train tracks. And as they walked away, one of them said, "Should we do anything else?" And another replied, "Nah, let's let the train finish him off." And I thought about that priest's comment. And I thought about looking at Shoshana, who had led our organizing efforts, who had been in all of our faith communities, who had worked tirelessly to pull us together. And I thought, if that had been her, or if she was killed, would they lift up her name in worship the next Sunday? Would they attend her funeral? Would they honor her life? And I looked really at these gentlemen, and I said, I understand what has drawn us together. A lot of these issues in our community around racial justice and economic justice. And I understand we have to find the places of commonality and work. But I hope that if we stayed in this work together in 10 years, that this conversation would look different. And the man leading the meeting, the Baptist minister, looks right at me and goes, "What's on the table is on the table. And what's off the table is off the table." And I thought about how I had been invited into this conversation and the way that it started and the huge ethic of control, of fear, of no, that had invaded the entire thing. And I thought, this is nothing like how we do things as Unitarian Universalists. We believe in an ethic of consent, of saying an ethic of invitation. Would you be willing to be in this conversation with me? Would you be willing to go to this place with me? Can we listen to each other to find a place where we can meet? Where are we not yet at? And how can we hold the differences between us in our heart? And I thought about how much that young man's new congregant story was in my heart, and how much I love Shoshana, and how much actually every story that anyone has ever shared with me, I'm so honored by in ministry, I've carried with me, and it has helped me shift what I do and what I care about in this world. And I thought, nah. I think I understand something that these other clergy do not, which is it is impossible for us to stay in this work and not have it change us. It's impossible not to know each other and love each other and show up in celebration and disappointment and hardship and struggle and not have that change us. Not have that affect how we care for one another. So we left that room, and I want to tell you, we did organize together a sanctuary congregation network, of which we were all a part. We also worked to stop a for-profit criminal justice complex, a new jail being built in our city, which would have doubled the rate of incarceration. And we started also this Live Free campaign to recognize that not only did we not want our people incarcerated, we wanted them to literally live because our city was so afflicted with gun violence. And we started a campaign to literally help save lives and lower the rate of gun homicides in our city. And we did all of that together. And I want to tell you, 2 years after that meeting, when we worked to pass Indiana's hate crime bill, which explicitly had never been passed before, because we insisted and included LGBTQ rights, and particularly protections for trans individuals, none of the men at that table worked to oppose it, nor did their congregations. James Cone, the father of Black liberation theology, who was a professor of mine at Union Theological Seminary, would always say to us, "You can't do good theology until your back is up against the wall." You can't do good theology until your back is up against a wall. And I will tell you, there was a point in that conversation in that room where I wondered about just walking away from it all. Why even continue? And then I realized, ultimately, I believe in us. I believe that there is such a place of interconnection, and that when we know each other and hold each other and are with each other, that is creative change. And when we could work together and bring our shared values out and speak about from the prophetic place of our lives, then a more loving and just world will become, even when I have to look past the horizon of my vision. So, my dear ones, though the night can be long, I know that dawn cometh in the morning, and we could hold out when we remember that which we have utmost confidence in. So what do you have utmost confidence in? What gives you courage when you continue to face challenges? And may the answer sustain you and us. May it be so, and amen.
And I echo amen. The story that you heard in Reverend Anastasia's sermon is a great example of why I am a Unitarian. It's also a good example of why, when I first moved to the DC area, All Souls was the first UU church I came to, because I had heard of all of the hard work All Souls has done throughout its existence to try to make the world a better place. Now, I would like to turn your attention back to the connection card right here, which our ushers are going to collect during the offering. I cordially invite you to turn your attention to the reflection question, which is up on the screens that you should be able to see if you're on Zoom. And the question is, what gives you the courage to continue when you face challenges? As the music plays, you're going to be invited to contemplate that and reflect on how you would answer this question on the connection card. Please return the card in the offering plate when the offering plates pass. All Souls also has the Share the Plate collection every month. 50% of all non-pledge gifts are going to go to Beacon House, which is this month, which is located in the Edgewood neighborhood of Northeast DC. It was founded in 1991 by Reverend Don Robinson, who is a Unitarian minister associated with All Souls. Beacon House provides quality after-school education and youth development services to nearly 400 children annually. To give to this, you can scan the QR code that's on the back of the fuse in front of you. You can click on a link in the Zoom chat, or you can text ASCU to 73256. Please consider the importance of our All Souls family to you, to your family, and give as generously as you are able. This morning's offering will now be received.
There's a song we're about to sing, I Need You to Survive. The first time I ever heard this was when I was in seminary, and I was part of the gospel choir, and we sang this song on Trans Remembrance Day. I need you, you need me, I need you to survive. The number of different people of differing theologies coming together to sing those words to each other. I need you. You need me. I need you to survive. Stand with me. Pray with me. Those were really the words that I was saying in that room. I need you. You need me. And I invite you to think about singing that song or listening to it with a person in mind. Words that can be a bridge to connection, even when the relationship is hard. So if you know the words and you catch the bug, I invite you to sing with us. It might be a song that gets you on your feet. Let us sing together, and may this song be our good benediction this morning.